We need some of the world's greatest brains fixed on trying to repair this planet, not trying to find the next place to go and live.
What are you fix the planet? What are you clean up we have a penis war. The rich people get penises, and they're gonna fly the penises into the space, and then the bigger and the richer you are, the bigger the penis. It's a dick swinging contest, but for space. Let's do a quick recap of 2021. All the best moments and worst moments. Probably best moments though.
I'm scared. I'm a bit nervous, but I think we'll be fine.
It was the vaccine year. It was the year we beat COVID, everybody.
More than 2 billion COVID-19 vaccines administered worldwide.
K-pop girl says, does Hassan count as problematic? Only if you do not agree with Hassan politically. That's what problematic crushes are. For example, if I said something like blackface Justin Trudeau, that is because I do not agree with Justin Trudeau's neoliberal policies and or performative politics. That's why. Okay, so that's why that counts as like a problematic crush. So if you agree with Hassan, then it wouldn't be a problematic crush. It would just be a crush. It's just a regular crush. If you are a right-winger, for example, or a DGGer, Destiny fan, but you are also sexually attracted to Hassan, then it would be a problematic crush. Then it would be like, yeah, I mean, I hate him, but at the same time, I really want to kiss him. But I do hate him, but I do also want to kiss him. But I really want to hate him. But I hope he's also a big spoon kind of cuddler. But I also do really hate him. But at the same time, I would like to be caressed by him. That would be it. You know, that's where it comes from.
I'm getting the Moderna
AstraZeneca shot.
J vaccine.
As millions get vaccinated, many reunions are happening around the country.
We beat COVID in a year. 2021 started the year of the vaccine.
It's been such a difficult time.
We
and
did
it's
it,
even
everyone.
harder pretending like everything's normal.
Regular Mole Rat
not.
Dragon, thank you for the 234 biddies.
700,000 people quit retail jobs.
As the so-called Great Resignation picked up speed.
They just didn't care about me anymore.
There is not a shortage of jobs, there is a shortage of
You know what? Jokes aside, that was probably one of the best parts of 2021. Not the fact that there was a massive exodus in shitty minimum wage jobs, but the fact that people woke up to the fact that they were being exploited on a large scale, especially in the United States. That was like, there's a lot of losses this year, but there was some victories, and the biggest victories I think came in the fact that people were striking and unionizing and showing that, you know, collective power truly does achieve great things. That was fucking one of the best things of 2021. Okay, that to me was inspiring to see. And I say that as someone who's just like, you know, sitting cozy in a chair streaming for a living. So like they were fucking out in the rain, out in the snow, fucking protesting. That was truly something cool. And I still think it is the start of a spark, because a lot of people are like, well, people aren't coming back to all these jobs in Canada, and so we need to, like, did I show you all how the CBC in Canada actually had the gall to say we need to import more low-wage, they called them foreign workers, low-wage foreign workers, to fill in all the minimum wage industry jobs, of which there's a massive shortage in this country right now. I was like, do you not realize what you're saying? Why not pay people better money to work those jobs? Because in instances where people did, say like Costco, for example, or Chipotle, people then started working in those industries because they weren't being paid. Like, if you cannot live off the money that you're making, especially in the area in which you're living, because they were talking specifically about Whistler. Whistler is this massive skiing and snowboard tourist destination in British Columbia. And so it has a huge problem. It has for a while. It's just been slowly descending. But the pandemic made things infinitely worse of having people work in minimum wage jobs because the cost of living is so high there. So you work your minimum wage job, but you still have to pay rent to live in that area. So it creates this conflict, if you will.
decent jobs.
The shortage of product has extended to just about everything.
Big shortage of lumber.
Shortage of snowblowers.
And a shortage of micro.
Oh, that is true. Lumber is so expensive. I don't know if any of y'all ever buy wood, but wood is expensive now.
Chips.
Look at those bones.
Can you not, please?
A growing backlog in the global supply chain.
A giant container ship wedged from bank to bank.
That's right. I forgot about that. And everyone got really weird and horny for it. Horny for a stuck boat. I know there's that rule. Is it Rule 34 or whatever? Like, everything that can be sexualized will be sexualized on the internet. But that one was surprising to me. Because I think that happened within 24 hours. It was like 24 hours from, oh yeah, the boat's stuck. Oh, it's going to cause like massive problems, huge problems to supply chains and all that kind of stuff, to, oh, here's a picture of the boat with massive titties and it's getting railed by the canal. And like, wait, what? Whoa, that was fast. Okay.
Guys on Reddit get rich off GameStop while bankrupting a bunch of hedge funds.
It's been a fun ride with GameStop.
A few things I am not. I'm not a cat.
It just shows how...
That was all this year? Oh, man. And I'm having so many like, what? That was this year? I'm not a cat guy. I forgot about you. But the internet will never. You will live in infamy. I'm not a cat.
Much power the rich people have.
What is an NFT?
Sold for nearly $70 million.
Literally sending dough.
Wait, there's an NFT that sold for 70 mil? Damn. If you can buy a URL that's based on the blockchain that leads you to a JPEG for 70 million, can you also please put some money into maybe healthcare? I still stand by that. Millionaires, can we start the millionaire and billionaire challenge? Who can do the most good? Can those become non-fungible? Can we do a non-fungible token exchange where you gotta provide people with living conditions or help a strike fund, and then if you do it successfully, you get a JPEG? We'll give you any JPEG you want. I'm serious. I stand by this idea. Any JPEG you want, I will find it. And it can be yours, and it can be only yours. You can have the Beanie Baby JPEG collectible of your dreams, but to buy it, instead of investing in cryptocurrency, you just have to help a strike fund, or pay someone's medical debt. That's it. If you pay off an American's medical debt, I'll give you a JPEG of your choosing. Any JPEG. Does not matter. Okay? You can have them all. There you go.
Dogecoin to the moon.
Anyone with enough money can become an astronaut.
Looking down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth.
We need some of the world's greatest brains fixed on trying to repair this planet, not trying to find the next place to go and live.
What fix the planet? What are you talking about? But we have a penis war. The rich people get penises, and they're gonna fly the penises into the space, and then the bigger and the richer you are, the bigger the penis. It's a dick swinging contest, but for space. That's what we're doing. Hey, Deep Dish Bard, thank you. Happy holidays to you too. I appreciate it.
The report is very clear. We expect to see new extremes that are unprecedented in magnitude, timing.
Oh man, what is 2022 gonna be like? Because this year was already wild. I mean, I live in British Columbia. We had a record heat wave. Over 500 people died. And then we had floodings where the actual highways that connect us to the rest of the world were just submerged underwater, or they just collapsed. So we had those two things. If you were in, Germany, you had record flooding. If you were in China, you had record flooding. If you were in America, you got those tornadoes, all those wild tornadoes that are increasing in ferocity. Like, oh my, yeah, 2022, get into the center. Get away from the coastline, I think is going to be the theme.
Or in regions that
also 2022 is pronounced 2022. Hey, that's true.
Have never encountered those types of extremes.
The most affected people in the most affected areas still...
Wait, Oscar the Grouch? No way. 2022 is going to be terrible. Oh, I know I say that every year, but I'm always right. Oh, Oscar. God damn it. Is Oscar the Grouch gonna be like a groundhog? Is that it? If Oscar the Grouch says it's a shitty year, it's gonna be a shitty year. I mean, if Oscar can change this, he really has a duty to course correct for us all.
Remain unheard.
Myanmar has been under political chaos since junta-led military coup ousted the elected government.
Farmers in India are marking a year since they began the biggest protest in the country's modern history.
that was pretty base that protest ended up not only being the largest protest in human history, but actually winning for the rights of the farmers. That's pretty incredible. And now, of course, we have to see the horrors that Israel is going to ravage upon the Gaza Strip.
Deadly conflict between Israeli forces and Palestinians continues.
Conflict, yes.
The government of Ethiopia has been locked in a year-long war with the Tigray People's Liberation Front.
A sudden wave of thousands of migrants has sparked a humanitarian crisis at the US-Mexico border.
How can you do that to human being, to other human beings?
It's time for American troops to come home.
One of the most base things that Biden did.
Situation right now.
I'm talking about withdrawing from Afghanistan effectively. I'm not talking about the whipping of the Haitian refugees. That was horrifying and deplorable, and you should be ashamed of yourselves for that. I'm saying that to the Biden administration, not you Americans who are watching me. I know you're all good. You're good people who wouldn't have wanted that.
United States Capitol, and now they are climbing through the window. The world is watching.
I do remember that.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
These people coordinated on open parts of the internet, on Instagram, on Facebook.
These platforms are not merely mirroring humanity. They're making all of us.
Oh, this reminded me of something I wanted to talk to you all about, and I completely forgot about it yesterday, but I know I talk about how Tim Pool's constantly talking about a civil war. I don't know if you recently read the article. I believe it was in the New York Times talking about civil war, and Tim Pool was like, oh, this validates the theories that I've been proposing for my entire career. But that article, I ended up reading it. It was astonishing how they got some things so wrong. And like, you know, again, I always plug Robert Evans and his work, but he talks about how if you study radicalization and you study what is going on right now, the article says that one of the biggest causes for a potential incoming civil war happens to do with the fact that Americans have lost environments like the bowling alley and the church, you know, places where they could interact with one another. And that's one of the big reasons that America is not as wholesome as it used to be. People are angrier than they used to be, and you're going to start seeing a lot of right-wing, far-right attacks popping up here and there, and maybe the potential threats against politicians and things like that because of the bowling alleys, because America lost the bowling alley. No, that is an asinine analysis of what is going on. The reason a lot of that is happening is because people are more online now than they ever have been, and a lot of these algorithms like to promote and make us see incendiary content because it keeps us more engaged on the platforms and for profit, all for profit. And that is what is rapidly radicalizing and also turning a lot of people violent. And yes, it is scary and it is dangerous, and that's one of the biggest problems with January 6th. January 6th, the liberals and the Democrats want so much to just point the finger at a handful of other politicians that they can now say, you're the bad thing. Like Donald Trump, you're to blame, and a handful of you are to blame, and maybe a couple media pundits are to blame, and that's it. But not looking at what is happening online, and what is happening rapidly online on a monstrous scale. That is the thing where you should be looking at. That's the thing you should be analyzing and being like, okay, this is dangerous, and this is honestly something that needs to be addressed immediately.
Our worst selves.
Yeah, Robert Evans said that. Robert Evans has a really good series, It Could Happen Here, and it used to be about a fantasy, if you will. He kind of just would posit what would happen in America if there was actually a civil war. How would it take place? A second civil war, the one that, you know, Tim Pool always talks about, and he's always looking at right-wing radicalization and stuff of that nature from you know, like an anarchist perspective, that kind of stuff. But in this year's series, he's gone away from doing the whole like I'm going to fantasize about what could happen and do a lot more kind of here's how we need to solve this problem, and here's things that every one of you can do. And sometimes people feel hopeless, but there's entire episodes where he's been like, honestly, just get involved in something locally, because what happens is the media does a really good job, and I'm saying this as I'm talking to you from a This Is Fine burning room, so this is going to sound a little silly, but the media does a very good job of constantly keeping you afraid and scared about things that are out of your control in a lot of ways. Like, you do not single-handedly have the power to stop climate change from happening. Like, you as a single individual cannot just do that overnight. But you feel that fear if people are constantly like, oh, the biggest ice cap is about to, you know, separate, and it's going to create a huge, you know, feedback loop, and this is going to happen, and that is going to happen, and you're just like, oh, doom, and it makes you depressed and anxious and unable to do anything. Where he's like, get out there if you can. Obviously, there are people who are unable to leave their homes for whatever reason, but if you can, get out and do or join a local organization of your choosing. One he would recommend right away if you're looking for one. Food Not Bombs. Food Not Bombs is one of the ones, and it's what you get on the tin. You know, it's exactly what it sounds like. And you don't even need to be a part of an organization if you don't want to. You can just do something as simple as maybe start a community garden or start a community fridge, or go buy, if you have an extra couple dollars, 20 to 30 blankets and give them to homeless people tomorrow, because a lot of them might freeze on the streets because it's so fucking cold right now. But just things like that to give you a sense of control back in your lives, where you are actually trying to affect change. And just think of what would happen if millions upon millions of people did things like that on a massive scale. It would definitely have a concerned good in the world, is one of the things that he's talking about.
Proud to announce that
Lucid Fox
today,
does love that.
Our company is now Meta.
Oh,
People
good.
really underestimate the power of misinformation.
Oh, good.
People who've had these shots and now they're magnetized.
Fui acometido de Covid e tomei hidroxicloroquina.
This is becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
People haven't related to it. You see the figures, the daily figures, and they're nameless faces.
India is being...
That is true. That is true. I know things are getting somber out of nowhere, but that is very, very true. That number in America, 800,000, over 800,000 people have died that we know of. I mean, that number could be well over 1 million, for example. That is just like shocking. It's gotten to the point where, like, I'm guessing, because I'm not even American, but like I can tell you as a Canadian, like, the 6 degrees of separation from this. I know someone who knows someone, or I know someone who has been like devastatingly affected by COVID. It's now everyone has that. Every single person has that, and disproportionately, again, because of just the way our economy is stratified, in some ways along racial lines, disproportionately Black people, disproportionately Indigenous people, disproportionately Latinx people, and yeah, it just looks like a number on a screen. When you turn on your computer and you're scrolling through it, and then you're like, oh wow, that's a lot of people, 800,000 people. That's a lot of fucking people. But yeah, those are all faces. Those are all human beings. Those are all moms, dads, sisters, brothers. Like it's fucked.
Ravaged by a second wave.
COVID-19 is threatening to overwhelm the country's health.
Oh, and might I say, by the way, that is also incredibly fucked that all these pundits, people like, Tucker Carlson, or even in the case of like Joe Rogan or Jimmy Dore, like all these people who are advocating for things that are directly going to endanger people's lives, such as like, vaccine hesitancy, alternative unproven, therapies for COVID-19, shit like that. Like, that is fucked up. It really shows you Tucker Carlson doesn't give two shits about his audience. Like, doesn't care. Like, it's striking in America how you can start to see the amount of people who are dying from being unvaccinated, because the majority of deaths, like 99.5% of the people who die from COVID-19 in the US are unvaccinated. And because it's become politicized, it's become this thing where if you happen to be a Republican, you're more likely than if you are a Democrat to be unvaccinated. And so those are the people who are dying en masse, because again, Fox News, like, it doesn't care about them as like actual humans. It doesn't care if they die. Whereas, like, I would posit that, like, don't do that. Don't, like, is it fucking controversial to say that?
Systems.
We don't have anything, and patients are dying.
A person cannot live here in Delhi. A person cannot even die peacefully.
Yeah, I know. Rogan can't get into Canada.
Inequality cannot be allowed to continue.
Omicron is spreading at a rate we have not seen with any previous variant.
The more this virus spreads, the more likely it is for a very dangerous variant to emerge.
We're in this together,
nice, Ryan. Sweet.
And the only way we're going to conquer this virus is by working together.
I love that Fauci will say something like that, and it's like, okay, cool. So we're going to be exporting a whole bunch of vaccines to poorer nations, then less developed nations. Is that what we're? Oh no, we're not. Oh, we're getting. Oh, okay, we gotta hold on to them because we gotta get that third booster. And Israel's doing a fourth apparently. Well, they're doing testing to see whether or not a fourth is going to be effective in aiding against Omicron. So okay, yeah, let's work together.
Agreed to share the gold medal.
And just because you're a female, it doesn't mean you can't accomplish the biggest of goals.
The Philippines, first ever Olympic gold medal.
Put your mental health first. It doesn't matter if you're on the biggest stage. That's more important than any other medal you could win.
There's so many people who are afraid to voice that they need help.
To truly choose to love is heroic.
Chile's Congress has passed a bill allowing same-sex couples to marry.
Britney Spears is free.
Hardly any of these police ever go to prison.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
And I'm so happy. I'm so happy right now.
With the Asian American community, enough is enough. We're just fed up.
What I really hope that this movie can do is show Asian kids that it's okay to take up space where they are because they belong.
I know where I'm headed in life. I know what my future is going to look like.
When something says Taylor's version, that means I own it.
Rock and roll never dies!
There are people who don't believe.
Okay, sorry. In case you don't know, and you don't follow Eurovision, these were some of the Eurovision winners, but it was highly suspected because there is obviously some footage of them looking like they're, doing a little bit of nose candy. They give one of the most sensational interviews. Like, they're all so drunk, and again, this is just speculation, so high, but man, do they ever give a fucking amazing interview. I would go look it up. It's pretty glorious.
There are people who don't believe that women can be better presidents, and we are here to show them.
Taking its first steps in pursuit of cosmological discovery.
Touchdown confirmed. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us?
Oh, Vox. Oh, just doing the little liberal heartwarming at the end. Nothing's really that bad at the end of the day. We have a little bit more representation in a handful of areas, so everything's going to be just right. I would say, though, in summation of 2021, in the year of our Lord, the thing of all of this that inspires me the most, I still stick with it, was just the workers' movement. The 2021 was the year of the worker. The year of protests, the year of unionization, the year of pushing back against giant dictatorships in the form of corporate CEOs and all that kind of shit. That was inspiring. That was inspiring to see. Yeah. I wish I could be as happy and positive as the libs. You can be. You just have to, ingest some of this stuff. Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we beseech thee to smite down our enemies. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble court jesters, here to amuse you. To our lords, Trevor R., we give thanks for this spit of land for us to eke out this meager existence. To our knights, Merid, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Ellie Leslie, Alex P., Brandon, Words Greenwood, Nate, that one guy, Hagbird Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Val 9000, Jenna Tall, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevor Yanis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojak, Saren 42, Catherine, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Josh Mickelson, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our flag in a veil, and we salute you, our friends.